First round and day one of the Australian Open, the first tennis Grand Slam tournament of the season. And this match being played at 1-all. Gauthier Onclin and Reilly Opelka, the match level at 1-all. So Reilly Opelka with the first service game of the third set. Reilly Opelka. They serve to the centre, just out, so second serve on this point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka serve centre of the box, kick serve, backhand to backhand. Onclin with a backhand hits the top of the net and over the net. So love 15. First point of the third set with the match level at 1-all. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Onclin with a forehand return, backhand to backhand. But Reilly Opelka with a forehand and Onclin with a backhand to the right. Opelka backhand to the centre. Then Onclin hits a forehand to the right and Reilly Opelka with a backhand return just hits the net. So love 30. Reilly Opelka with a central serve out. So second serve on this point. Reilly Opelka, centre to wide serve and then forehand, and Gauthier Onclin forehand, Reilly Opelka forehand. Gauthier Onclin forehand of about 3 forehand shots each or so, and then a forehand from Reilly Opelka to the left just hits the net. So 3 break points for Gauthier Onclin. So Gauthier Onclin with 3 break points at the start of the third set. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve and an ace. So 15-40. So that's 1 of 3 break points saved. So 2 more break points for Gauthier Onclin on this Reilly Opelka service game at the start of the third set. Reilly Opelka with central serve. Gauthier Onclin with backhand return to the right and backhand Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin with forehand to left. Reilly Opelka with forehand to the right just hits the net. So Gauthier Onclin leads with a breaker serve at the start of the third set. Gauthier Onclin with a breaker serve on return to serve in the first game of the third set. Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin was centre of the box serve just out, so second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka over backhand return just hits the net, so 15 love. Gauthier Onclin with a wide serve. Reilly Opelka backhand return, and then Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the left, just out, close but just out, so 15 all. Gauthier Onclin, centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka, forehand block return, then forehand, and Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the left, and Gauthier Onclin to net. But Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand passing shot to the left, and it's a winner. Well, Gauthier Onclin struck a forehand to the left and to the net, but that is quite the backhand passing shot to the left, returned by Reilly Opelka to win that point. So 15-30, Gauthier Onclin with the centre of the box serve, and then backhand to backhand. Backhand to backhand of 2 shots each or so. And then forehand Reilly Opelka, Gauthier Onclin backhand to centre, Reilly Opelka forehand to the right. Gauthier Onclin was left to centre forehand, Reilly Opelka with a shot. And then backhand to backhand. Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the right, and Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left after that, just out. So 30 all. Gauthier Onclin, a qualifier in this tournament. And Gauthier Onclin just won a point, so 40-30 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. So a point for Gauthier Onclin to maybe potentially maintain the breaker serve lead in the third set. Match level at 1 set all. Gauthier Onclin with a wide serve. Reilly Opelka backhand return, and Gauthier Onclin a bit further forward. Strikes a short angled forehand to the left, and it's not right enough one. But Reilly Opelka with a backhand return struck to the left, hits a winner. So juice. Well, Gauthier Onclin after a wide serve and a Reilly Opelka return. Gauthier Onclin with an all right enough short angle forehand to left, but Reilly Opelka with a backhand return struck a winner to the left. So juice. Gauthier Onclin with central serve. Backhand return Reilly Opelka forehand Gauthier Onclin. And then backhand to backhand. Second backhand Reilly Opelka struck to the left. And then forehand struck by Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka to net. Gauthier Onclin with a return. And then still Gauthier Onclin with a shorter angle, wide serve and an ace, and Gauthier Onclin with a breaker serve lead in the third set, and Gauthier Onclin with a short angled, wide serve ace maintains the breaker serve lead in the third set. Reilly Opelka service game. Gauthier Onclin, a qualifier with a breaker serve lead in the third set. Reilly Opelka central serve, backhand to backhand. Then Gauthier Onclin with a backhand slice to the centre. Reilly Opelka strikes forehand to the right, and Gauthier Onclin with a forehand return. Reilly Opelka backhand volley. Gauthier Onclin gets to it with a forehand shot, and Reilly Opelka gets a bit of forehand volley on it just by net, but hits the net a bit. Can't get the ball much further. So love 15. Well, Reilly Opelka with a volley at the net, but Gauthier Onclin got a forehand return shot in over the net. Reilly Opelka centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand return, backhand to backhand. Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand to right, and Reilly Opelka strikes forehand to left. Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand to left, backhand to backhand, and then Gauthier Onclin's backhand just hits the net. So 15 all. Reilly Opelka with central serve, and it's an ace. So 30-15. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve and another ace. So 40-15. Reilly Opelka. Central serve, Gauthier Onclin with a return. And then forehand to forehand, and Gauthier Onclin with forehand to the right out. So 40-15. Point replayed after the last Reilly Opelka serve. So this is 40-15. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin with return. Reilly Opelka forehand. And then backhand to backhand. And Gauthier Onclin with backhand slice. And then Reilly Opelka further forward, backhand slice to the left, just out. So 40-30. One of my favourite players in this part of the draw, Thomas Machak. Thomas Machak winning by 3 sets to love today. Reilly Opelka serve. And then Gauthier Onclin with a backhand return just hits the net. So that service game is maintained. Gauthier Onclin leads with breaker serve in the third set at 2-1 Gauthier Onclin. Thomas Machak winning by 3 sets to love today. Thomas Machak winning by 3 sets to love. The Summit Nagal 6-3, 6-1, 7-5. Yuri the Hacker winning as well. Winning in 4 sets. The Li 2 by 3 sets to 1, 6-1, 3-6, 6-3, 7-6. But one of my favourite players, Thomas Machak, plays the winner of this match, Gauthier Onclin and Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin, older Reilly Opelka. And then in the third round, Thomas Machak, Gauthier Onclin or Reilly Opelka may play Novak Djokovic in the third round, potentially. Gauthier Onclin leads in this third set by 2-1 with a breaker serve. Gauthier Onclin, the central serve. Reilly Opelka's backhand slice return to the right. Then Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the right, just out. So love 15. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve, just out. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin. Centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand return. Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand to the right. And Reilly Opelka returns. But then Gauthier Onclin a bit further forward strikes another forehand to the right. And it's a winner. Wunderbar 15 all. 2 forehands struck by Gauthier Onclin to the right, and the second one a winner. Wunderbar forehand from Gauthier Onclin. So 15 all. 15-40, 2 break points for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka just won a point. Reilly Opelka with backhand return from serve. Gauthier Onclin beforehand to the left. And then Reilly Opelka struck a forehand to the right. And quite the forehand winner struck to the right from Reilly Opelka. Shone on that forehand. So 2 break points. 15-40, 2 break points for Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve just hits the net. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand 10. Forehand Gauthier Onclin and backhand struck by Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin backhand 10 and backhand slice Reilly Opelka. Backhand Gauthier Onclin, backhand to backhand. And Gauthier Onclin backhand slice turn to the centre. Then Reilly Opelka a little bit further forward, strikes a forehand to the left and breaks serve on return of serve. And it's on serve in the second set at 2 games all. Reilly Opelka serves game. Reilly Opelka serves centre. Gauthier Onclin returns and Reilly Opelka to the net with a volley. And Gauthier Onclin for a forehand return after that. But then Reilly Opelka for a forehand volley to the left at the net just after that, and it's a winner. So 15-love. Reilly Opelka serve and volley point. Serve, Onclin returns, 1 volley, Onclin returns, and then the next volley and a winner. Serve and volley point won by Reilly Opelka on that point. So 15-love. Reilly Opelka with central serve. Gauthier Onclin for a return. Backhand Reilly Opelka to the centre, just out. So 15-all. Reilly Opelka with a serve to the centre, and it's an ace. So 30-15. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin for a return. Backhand Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand to the left, and Reilly Opelka strikes forehand to the right. Just hits the net. So 30-all. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin with a forehand return, but the serve just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre to wide serve and a bit of slice on that serve and an ace. So 40-30. Reilly Opelka with a Reilly Opelka with a serve to centre, a bit of slice. Gauthier Onclin returns and Reilly Opelka a bit further forward, strikes forehand. Gauthier Onclin returns. And then an overhead smash to the right from Reilly Opelka on the next shot. And then Gauthier Onclin with a forehand passing shot to the left hand. It's a winner. Juice, wonderbar. Returning that from Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka with an overhead smash to the right of the net. And then Gauthier Onclin got to it with a forehand return and hit a passing shot to the left for A passing shot return winner. Wunderbar returning that from Gauthier Onclin. Juice. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, and it's an ace. So potentially a point on the next point, maybe potentially for Reilly Opelka to maintain the service game. On serve in the third set, and the match level at 1-all. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, shorter angled, just out. Second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka. Ooh. Reilly Opelka with a serve. Gauthier Onclin return. Reilly Opelka with a shot. Right centre, just out. So juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. 2 games all on serve in the second set. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin return. Reilly Opelka volley at net. Gauthier Onclin returns another volley from Reilly Opelka. And then a backhand side shot. Return to the right from Gauthier Onclin, just hits the net. So maybe a point on the next point for Reilly Opelka to maintain the service game. Add point for Reilly Opelka. 11 out of 22 net points won in this match for Reilly Opelka. 4 out of 9 for Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka with a serve just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a serve. Ooh. Maybe the next one. Yeah, Reilly Opelka over wide serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand return. Forehand Reilly Opelka. Forehand to forehand. Backhand Reilly Opelka to left. Gauthier Onclin with forehand to left. Hits top of net and over net. Then Reilly Opelka with a backhand right centre. Just hits the net. So juice. Gauthier Onclin with a Reilly Opelka rather with a wide serve, and it's an ace. Wide serve ace from Reilly Opelka on that point. On this Reilly Opelka service game, so add point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin returns. Then Reilly Opelka forehand. Then forehand Gauthier Onclin strike. Reilly Opelka returns to forehand. Then a bit further forward. Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the right, but just out. Close, but just out. And Reilly Opelka maintains that service game. And on serve in the third set at 3-2, Reilly Opelka. And the match level at 1-all. So matches played at the Australian Open at this point of the tournament or competition. Arina Sabalenka won by 2 sets to love. The Sloane Stephens 6-3, 6-2. win for Casper Ruud in 5 sets v Jamais Menor. 6-3, 1-6, 7-5, 2-6, 6-1. In this match, Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a wide serve, just out. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin, the centre of the box serve, just out. So that's 2 serves out. So love 15 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. On serve in the third set and the match level at 1 set all. Gauthier Onclin with a so Reilly Opelka just won a point, and it's 3 break points for Reilly Opelka to maybe potentially have a breaker serve lead in the third set. 3 break points, Reilly Opelka. Love 40. Break points 1 in this match. 3 out of 7 for Gauthier Onclin. 1 out of 1 for Reilly Opelka at this point of the match. And Gauthier Onclin with a centre to wide serve, and Reilly Opelka with a backhand return just hits the net. So 15-40. 1 break point save. 2 more break points for Reilly Opelka on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve. Reilly Opelka with a backhand return. Forehand Gauthier Onclin. Forehand. Forehand return from Gauthier Onclin. A bit further forward. Reilly Opelka strikes one to the right and to the net. Gauthier Onclin with a return, but then Reilly Opelka with a shorter backhand volley hits the top of the net, and it's over the net and in, and it's a winner. And Reilly Opelka leads in the third set with a breaker serve at 4-2. Reilly Opelka. So Reilly Opelka with a breaker serve lead in the third set. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve, a bit of slicing a bit to the left, and it's an ace. So 15 love. Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka just maintained a service game, so Reilly Opelka leading with a breaker serve at 5-2. Reilly Opelka in the third set, and the match at 1-all. So Gauthier Onclin's service game, next service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka forehand slice turn a bit further forward. Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the left, and then Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left after that, out. So 15-love. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve. Reilly Opelka forehand return, forehand to forehand. And backhand struck by Reilly Opelka. Forehand return from Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left. And it's a winner. Schön und wunderbar. Power struck forehand from Reilly Opelka on that point. And a winner with it. 15-all. Gauthier Onclin reserve to the centre. Reilly Opelka backhand return. Backhand to backhand. Backhand to backhand of 2 shots each. Third backhand Reilly Opelka. Forehand Gauthier Onclin. Forehand to forehand. And Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left. And it's another winner. 2 forehand winners struck in a row from Reilly Opelka to the left to finish the last 2 points. And Zwei, Schön und wunderbar forehand from Reilly Opelka of winners on the last 2 points. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve and backhand to backhand, and Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left, and it's just out. So 30-all. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve. Reilly Opelka backhand turn. Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand just out. No, just it's in. It's in. The forehand's just in. The forehand's just in after 2 more shots each or so. Reilly Opelka with backhand return just hits the net. So 40-30. Well, the forehand from Onclin just 2 shots each or so pre that, very close but in. So 40-30. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand return to the left, and Gauthier Onclin with a backhand slice return just hits the net. So juice on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a serve, with a central serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand turn to the right. Gauthier Onclin forehand slice return to the right, and it's in. Then Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand to the right, just out. So add point for Gauthier Onclin to potentially maintain the service game, maybe. Add point for Gauthier Onclin. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box there. Reilly Opelka backhand turn, backhand to backhand struck by Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin turns to backhand to left. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to left, just out. So that service game is maintained. So breaker serve lead for Reilly Opelka at 5-3. Reilly Opelka in the third set. Well, Reilly Opelka with power on the serve and ball strikes. And Gauthier Onclin bit of a returner, bit of a ball striker. Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka leading the third set by 5-3. Reilly Opelka maintains his service game, then Reilly Opelka leads the match 2-1. Reilly Opelka with a central serve and it's just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. And Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, a bit of slice, and it's an ace. So 15-love. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin with backhand turn. Reilly Opelka strikes backhand turn. Gauthier Onclin forehand struck by Reilly Opelka. Backhand to backhand, and Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand to the right, but just hits the net. So 15-all. Reilly Opelka with a centre to wide serve, just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre to wide serve, and Gauthier Onclin beforehand return shot, and Reilly Opelka to the net of a forehand volley, just hits the net. So 15-30 on this Reilly Opelka service game. Serve and volley points, on an amount of points from Reilly Opelka. Maybe not 9 out of 10 points, but on the amount of points. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and it's just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a second serve wide. Gauthier Onclin with a backhand block shot return. Shorter angle to the right, but just out. So 30-all. So 30-all on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin with forehand return. Reilly Opelka forehand. Then a bit further forward. Gauthier Onclin onto it with a backhand. Reilly Opelka backhand return. Then Gauthier Onclin to the net with a backhand volley to the left, and it's just out. Very close, but just out. And it's 40-30, and it's a set point for Reilly Opelka to potentially lead the match by 2-1. Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin forehand return. Forehand. Second forehand Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka strikes the second forehand to the left, and it just hits the net. So juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a serve short angled and wide, and it's an ace. A short angled wide serve ace from Reilly Opelka, and it's an adds point and a set point for Reilly Opelka. Second set point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin forehand return a bit further forward. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the right, very close, but just out. So juice. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand return. Reilly Opelka strikes one to the right, and Gauthier Onclin returns a left to centre forehand, but just out. And it's a add point and a third set point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, a bit of slice, and it's an ace. And that's game and third set. Reilly Opelka by 6-3, and Reilly Opelka leads the match by 2-1. It's a competitive match from the qualifier Gauthier Onclin, but Reilly Opelka maintaining enough of a level at this point of the match to be leading by 2-1. So start of the fourth set. Reilly Opelka leading by 2-1. Gauthier Onclin with the first service game of the fourth set. Gauthier Onclin with a serve to the centre of the box, and it's a second serve out. So love 15 on this Gauthier Onclin service game at the start of the fourth set. Gauthier Onclin with a centre to wide serve. Reilly Opelka returns. Then Gauthier Onclin with a shot, and Reilly Opelka strikes the backhand to the right, and Gauthier Onclin returns the shot to the centre, but just out. So love 30 on this Gauthier Onclin service game at the start of the fourth set. Reilly Opelka leading by 2-1. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve just out, so second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka backhand return, and Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the left, just hits the net. So love 40 and 3 break points for Reilly Opelka at the start of the fourth set. Gauthier Onclin with a serve to the centre of the box, and then backhand to backhand, and Reilly Opelka with a forehand to the right, and Gauthier Onclin with a backhand to the right, and then forehand to forehand. Gauthier Onclin strikes far to left. Reilly Opelka backhand return, backhand to backhand, and Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left, and it's very close, but just out. So 15-40 1 break point saved for Gauthier Onclin, 2 more for Reilly Opelka. 15-40 on this Gauthier Onclin service game at the start of the 4th set. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve, and it's just out. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin of a central serve. Reilly Opelka turns and shot from Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the right, and Gauthier Onclin backhand slice turn. And Reilly Opelka strikes another forehand to the right, and Gauthier Onclin returns. Another forehand from Reilly Opelka to the right. Gauthier Onclin returns. Then forehand to forehand, and Gauthier Onclin's forehand struck to the right is just out, and Reilly Opelka leads in the 4th set with a breaker serve at 1-0 to Reilly Opelka at the start of the 4th set. Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka leading with a breaker serve in the 4th set, and Reilly Opelka leading the match by 2-1. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, and it's an ace. So 15-0 on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a Reilly Opelka with a wide serve just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand return. Reilly Opelka to net of a volley. And Gauthier Onclin returns with a lob shot return, but then Reilly Opelka with an overhead smash at the net to the left, and it's a winner. So 30-0. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, shorter angled, bit of slice, and an ace. 40-0. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and it's another ace, and that service game is maintained to love for Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand return, backhand to backhand, of 2 backhand shots each, and Reilly Opelka strikes another backhand. Gauthier Onclin with another backhand return, backhand Reilly Opelka, backhand slice Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand to left. Gauthier Onclin returns to backhand centre, and Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to left, and Gauthier Onclin returns, and Reilly Opelka then strikes a backhand to the right, and it's a winner. Love 15. And ball striking, forehand, then backhand from Reilly Opelka, and finish the point with a backhand winner struck to the right. Love 15. $14 shots in the last rally, in the last point. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve, central box serve, just hits the net. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin with a central box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand turn. Gauthier Onclin forehand return, forehand, but Gauthier Onclin's forehand just out. So very close, but just out. So love 30 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. And Reilly Opelka potentially maybe maintaining a level, maybe close to a 4-set win, maybe potentially for the second round of the Australian Open from the first round. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve just hits the net. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand return serve. Gauthier Onclin with a backhand side serve. Reilly Opelka with a shot. And Reilly Opelka's net, and then Gauthier Onclin hits a forehand, hits a backhand rather, passing shot to left, and it's a winner. Backhand passing shot winner from Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka in there, and Gauthier Onclin strikes a backhand passing shot to the left, and it's a winner. Gauthier Onclin centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand turn, and a forehand struck by Gauthier Onclin, but a little bit out, and it's 2 break points for Reilly Opelka, 15-40 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Competitive 3 sets in this match, but in the 4th set is Reilly Opelka maintaining a level to a win potentially. Gauthier Onclin with a serve, Reilly Opelka with backhand return, then Gauthier Onclin with a backhand drop shot to the right, but it just hits the net, and it's 2 breaks of serve in the 4th set for Reilly Opelka. And Reilly Opelka with a double breaker serve lead in the 4th set at 3 games to love to Reilly Opelka. So Reilly Opelka with a double breaker serve lead in the 4th set. A competitive 3rd set. Reilly Opelka won by 6 games to 3. Winning that competitive set with a breaker serve to lead the match by 2 sets to 1. And then Reilly Opelka with a double break in the 4th set. Maybe close to a win to the second round of the Australian Open. Reilly Opelka's just won a point, so 15-love on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, a bit out, so second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a serve just hits the net, so 2 serves not in, so 15-all. After that double fault, but 15-all on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka leading the 4th set of a double breaker serve. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, and Gauthier Onclin with a backhand return just hits the net. So 30-15. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and Gauthier Onclin with backhand side return to left, a bit out after an alright enough wide serve from Reilly Opelka. So 40-15 on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka was centre to wide serve, just hits the net. So second serve on this point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin forehand return. Reilly Opelka strikes one serve, hits top of net and home net. And forehand return from Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand, then backhand to backhand. Then backhand slice from Gauthier Onclin to the right. Then Reilly Opelka strikes forehand to left, and then forehand to forehand. And Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the left, and it's a winner. Wonderful on that shot. 40-30. So 40-30 on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand slice down a bit further forward. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left, and it's a winner. Double breaker serve lead maintained for Reilly Opelka, maintaining that service game. 4 games to love of a double break for Reilly Opelka in the fourth set. Winning a competitive third set with the 1 breaker serve, maybe potentially for Reilly Opelka to winning this match, with Reilly Opelka leading the fourth set of a double break serve. Gauthier Onclin with serve, then 2 shots each or so, and then Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the right, but a bit out. So 15 love on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve just out. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin. Really centre to wide serve, and then Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand return to the right, and it's just out. So 30 love. Gauthier Onclin with a wide serve just out. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka returns 1 shot each or so, and then Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left out. So 40 love on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre to wide serve, and Reilly Opelka with a backhand return just hits the net. So Gauthier Onclin maintains that service game. Reilly Opelka leading with a double breaker serve in the fourth set at 4-1. Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka service. Reilly Opelka service game. 15-all. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin with forehand return. Struck to the left, and it's just out. So 30-15 on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka serve. Gauthier Onclin with a forehand return, and Reilly Opelka with forehand slide shot to the left, a bit out. So 30-all. All right, enough forehand return from Gauthier Onclin on that point. So 30-all. But then returning a Reilly Opelka serve, it is a big serve with power. And the amount of serves kick and the amount of serves with a bit of slice as well. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve with a bit of slice, short angled, and it's an ace. So 40-30. So 40-30 on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin forehand return to right. Reilly Opelka backhand. Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the right, and it's a winner. So deuce. Forehand winner struck to the right by Gauthier Onclin to finish that point. Forehand return off a Reilly Opelka serve, and then after a Reilly Opelka backhand, Gauthier Onclin struck a forehand to the right and struck a forehand winner. So deuce on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a central serve just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and Gauthier Onclin strikes a short angled forehand return to the left, and it's a winner. It's a forehand return winner ace from Gauthier Onclin from a wide serve from Reilly Opelka. Forehand short angled return winner ace to the left from Gauthier Onclin. Wunderbar return from Gauthier Onclin on that point. So add point and break point for Gauthier Onclin on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve just out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand return. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand to left, and Gauthier Onclin strikes a backhand to the left and just hits the net. So deuce on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and then Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand return for Reilly Opelka, and forehand Gauthier Onclin to the right. Reilly Opelka backhand to centre, and Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand to left. Forehand return from Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin strikes forehand to the right. Reilly Opelka returns, and Gauthier Onclin to the net with a shorter backhand volley to the left, and it's a winner. Add and break point for Gauthier Onclin on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka, very wide serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand block return, and Reilly Opelka to the net for a forehand volley to the right, and it's a winner. Deuce, serve and volley point from Reilly Opelka on that point. Wide serve, backhand block return from Gauthier Onclin, and Reilly Opelka to the net with a forehand volley to the right and a winner. So deuce on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and it's an ace. So add a point for Reilly Opelka to maybe potentially maintain this service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, and Gauthier Onclin with backhand slice return to the right out. So that service game is maintained for Reilly Opelka, and Reilly Opelka with a double breaker serve lead in the fourth set at 5-1 Reilly Opelka. So Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. A bit out, so second serve on this point for Gauthier Onclin. Gauthier Onclin, centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand return to the right. Gauthier Onclin with a forehand return shot to left, a bit out after a forehand struck to the right. Returning serve from Reilly Opelka. So love 15 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve. Reilly Opelka returns, and then return from Gauthier Onclin. Then one shot each or so, and then forehand to forehand. And Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand with power to left, and it's a winner. Sean, love 30. So Gauthier Onclin with a central serve, and then backhand return Reilly Opelka, and forehand Gauthier Onclin. Backhand struck by Reilly Opelka, and forehand return Gauthier Onclin. Forehand to forehand, and Reilly Opelka's forehand struck to the left is just out. So 15-30 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka backhand return, and Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand and hits one to the left, and it's a winner. So 30-all. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka forehand block return, forehand Gauthier Onclin. Then backhand struck by Reilly Opelka to the left just out. So 40-30 on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand turn, backhand slice down from Gauthier Onclin. And then Reilly Opelka further forward, strikes a forehand to the right, and it's a winner. So deuce. Gauthier Onclin with a Gauthier Onclin with a Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand, bit of a short angle return to the right, and it's a winner. It's a backhand return winner ace from Reilly Opelka, and it's an add point and a match point for Reilly Opelka. So match point Reilly Opelka. Match point, Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin reserve. Reilly Opelka backhand return. Gauthier Onclin beforehand to right. Then Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand. Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to the left. And then Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the right, a bit out. So deuce on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve just hits the net. So second serve for Gauthier Onclin on this point. Gauthier Onclin with a central serve, and Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand to the left just out. So add point for Gauthier Onclin on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka strikes a backhand return. A backhand return shot to the right from Gauthier Onclin is just out. So deuce on this Gauthier Onclin service game. Gauthier Onclin with a centre of the box serve. Reilly Opelka with forehand slice turn and forehand to forehand. And Reilly Opelka strikes a forehand to the left and it's just out. So add point for Gauthier Onclin. So Gauthier Onclin just maintained a service game. So Reilly Opelka leading with a double breaker serve in the fourth set at 5-2 Reilly Opelka. Tomas Machak, one of my favourite players, playing the winner of this match. And then the winner of that may potentially play Novak Djokovic in the third round. Reilly Opelka in this one, leading with a double breaker serve in the fourth set at 5-2 Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka won a competitive third set with the one breaker serve, 6-3 to maybe potentially win this match. Reilly Opelka may be maintaining enough of a level potentially to maybe win this one in 4 sets. Reilly Opelka's just won a point, 15-love. Reilly Opelka service game. Potentially one maintaining service game from the second round of the Australian Open. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand return. Reilly Opelka strikes or hits a backhand to the right and it's out. So 15-all after Gauthier Onclin returning that Reilly Opelka serve. So 15-all. Reilly Opelka with a central serve and it's an ace. So 30-15 after an ace from Reilly Opelka. So Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin forehand return. Reilly Opelka strikes forehand to right. And Gauthier Onclin with backhand return. Then Reilly Opelka right. And Gauthier Onclin with forehand to left. And Reilly Opelka with backhand slice right. And Gauthier Onclin third forward with forehand to the right. And then Reilly Opelka hits a forehand passing shot to the left. And it's a winner. And it's 2 match points for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a serve, just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre box serve and Gauthier Onclin forehand turn. Reilly Opelka backhand and forehand Gauthier Onclin. Then forehand struck Reilly Opelka. Gauthier Onclin backhand turn. Backhand slice Reilly Opelka to the left. Then Gauthier Onclin forehand to the right. Then Reilly Opelka strikes a shorter angle forehand to the left. Close but just out. So 40-30. Three hours this match at this point of the match. Or 3 hours played in this match at the point in the match, anyway. Third match point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka, centre box serve, Gauthier Onclin with backhand return, backhand to backhand, second backhand, Gauthier Onclin, second backhand, Reilly Opelka, backhand to backhand, 3 backhand shots each. Then 4 backhand shots each, and then Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand to left, and Reilly Opelka with backhand return to the centre, just out. So juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin returns, then forehand to forehand. And then Reilly Opelka, the second forehand struck to the right, a bit out. So an add point and a break point for Gauthier Onclin on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, hits the top of the net and a bit out. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre box serve and Gauthier Onclin with forehand return to the right, just out. So juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve and an ace. So fourth match point for Reilly Opelka on this next point. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve, just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve, just out. So double fault and juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a serve to the centre, just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a central serve and Gauthier Onclin with backhand block return to the left, out. So add point and a fifth match point for Reilly Opelka on this Reilly Opelka service game. Amount of match points in this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve, just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve. Gauthier Onclin with forehand return and forehand to forehand. Second forehand struck to right by Gauthier Onclin. And Reilly Opelka strikes forehand to the right and backhand Gauthier Onclin. Backhand slice Reilly Opelka. Backhand Gauthier Onclin. Backhand slice Reilly Opelka to the centre, just out. So juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, just hits the net, so second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, Gauthier Onclin with forehand return to the right, and an alright enough return, and Reilly Opelka with forehand to the right after that, just out. So add point and break point for Gauthier Onclin on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve and an ace, so deuce on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve just out, so second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a central serve just hits the net and a double fault, so add point and break point Gauthier Onclin. Reilly Opelka with a bit of a short angled wide serve and maybe just out. Another serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a central serve, a bit of slice, and then a volley to half volley net after Gauthier Onclin return to the right, and it's a winner with that shot. So deuce, the sixth deuce of this Reilly Opelka service game. Well, Reilly Opelka with a central serve, a bit of slice. Gauthier Onclin with a forehand shot return and a half volley at the net from Reilly Opelka to the right, and a winner with that shot. So deuce. Reilly Opelka with a central serve just hits the net. So second serve for Reilly Opelka on this point. Reilly Opelka with a central serve. Gauthier Onclin backhand block return. Reilly Opelka further forward. Strikes a backhand to left. But then Gauthier Onclin strikes a forehand passing shot to left, and it's a winner. Wunderbar returning that. Well, returned a Reilly Opelka serve with a block return, and then Reilly Opelka fell forward to the net, struck a shot, but then Gauthier Onclin struck a forehand passing shot winner on the next shot. So it's a break point for Gauthier Onclin. Add point. Add point and match point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a wide serve And another serve for Reilly Opelka just after that. Reilly Opelka, central box serve. Gauthier Onclin with a backhand return. Hits the top of the net, and it's short and just over the net, so it's a winner. And juice on this Reilly Opelka service game. Reilly Opelka with a centre of the box serve, and Gauthier Onclin with a backhand return just hits the net. So add point and match point for Reilly Opelka. Reilly Opelka with a centre to wide serve, and Gauthier Onclin with a bit of backhand on it, but can't get the ball much further. Game, set and match, Reilly Opelka. And Reilly Opelka wins in 4 sets by 3-1 in this first round Australian Open match. 3-6, 7-6, 6-3, 6-2. Well, Reilly Opelka, power, serving and hitting, big serving. Gauthier Onclin, bit of a return of ball striker, the qualifier, and a competitive third set. Reilly Opelka won a competitive third set with a one breaker serve to win the third set 6-3 and lead the match by 2-1. And after that, Reilly Opelka maintained enough of a level and a double break in the 4th set and win the match over the match by 3-1 in 4 sets. And one of my favourite players, Thomas Machak, will play Reilly Opelka in the 2nd round, and the winner of that may potentially play Novak Djokovic in the 3rd round.